So, when you hear the word Montessori, what comes to mind? For most of us, it's probably a specific kind of school, right? Maybe with those cool wooden toys. But what if I told you that's just the tip of the iceberg, that it's actually so much bigger? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and really demystify what Montessori is all about. And trust me, it's a profound and frankly beautiful way of seeing and being with your child. Let's just start with this one kind of radical question that really gets to the heart of the whole philosophy. What if children are not empty buckets that we as adults have to fill up with knowledge? What if they actually come into this world with an innate blueprint for their own development already inside them? Dr. Maria Montessori was absolutely convinced of this. Now, she was a scientist and a doctor back in the early 1900s, and she did something that was just revolutionary for her time. Instead of just theorizing about how kids learn, she just watched them. And what she discovered by observing, not assuming, well, it changed everything. And that discovery, it led to this fundamental idea. Montessori isn't just a set of teaching techniques you use in a classroom from 9 to 3. Nope, it is a complete philosophy of life. I mean, look at this quote. It puts it so perfectly. It's a way of living and of being with children. So what does a philosophy like that actually look like in our day-to-day lives? Well, it really breaks down into 3 core parts. First up, there's the outlook. This is the foundation, a fundamental mindset of just awe. It's about truly appreciating the incredible wonder of your child's existence, the world they're discovering, and how everything is all connected. It's about finding real joy in watching them develop. Next, we have the lens. And this is all about how we choose to see our kids. So instead of seeing them as these little empty vessels just waiting for us to pour information into them, we see them as whole, capable human beings, just brimming with potential from the moment they're born. And when you start looking through that lens, it completely changes our role as adults, doesn't it? We suddenly realize we're not sculptors trying to chisel a child into something we've predetermined. Instead, we become guides. Our job is to nurture what is already there, deep inside them. And of course, that brings us to the attitude. This is where the philosophy really becomes action. It's an attitude of deep, genuine respect, of humility, and, this is a big one, of profound patience and trust in the child's own unique timeline and process. Okay, so if we're supposed to trust the child's process, what is it exactly that we're trusting? Well, Montessori's answer lies in something she called human tendencies, and you can think of these as the secret engines that are powering their development. So these human tendencies are the universal, natural drives that every single one of us is born with. They're basically the tools a child uses to make sense of their world and to literally construct their own personality. And here's the secret sauce. The Montessori method is so powerful because it works with these tendencies, not against them.
Let's look at a couple of quick examples. First, there's exploration, that powerful innate drive to just investigate. You see it when a toddler has to touch absolutely everything, right? And you see that exact same drive when a 9-year-old starts asking these deep, cosmic questions about the universe. It's the same drive, just expressing itself differently as they grow.
Here's another one that's so crucial, orientation. This is our deep need to find our bearings, to understand where we are so we can feel secure. Just think about a little kid in a new park. What do? They'll often look back to find you, their anchor, before they feel safe enough to go out and explore. This idea of orientation, it's like an internal compass. It gives a child that secure starting point, that feeling of, okay, I know where I am. And that feeling of safety is the absolute foundation for all other learning and exploration. You need that before you can do anything else. And there are so many others, like the need for order. That's why your toddler might have a meltdown if their cup is in the wrong spot. The drive for repetition, like a kid doing the same puzzle 100 times to master it. The desire to do meaningful work, like a 4-year-old who absolutely insists on helping you wash the vegetables. And of course, that deep, deep human need for communication. Once you start recognizing these tendencies, it's like you've been given a cheat sheet to understanding your child's behavior. So these tendencies are the fuel, right? They're what drives development. But what does that journey actually look like? Well, Dr. Montessori saw that it's not some straight upward climb. It's more like a series of profound transformations. She used this really powerful analogy of a butterfly's metamorphosis. A child doesn't just get bigger and better at things. They go through these distinct stages of rebirth, and they emerge from each one as a fundamentally different person with totally new needs and new powers. So here it is. This diagram shows her framework of 4 distinct 6-year planes of development. And you can see the pattern, right? The orange triangles are these dynamic, explosive periods of change, like from birth to 6. And the blue triangles? Those are calmer periods of consolidation and steady growth, like from 6 to 12. It's this beautiful rhythm of creation and then refinement. And just look at the incredible shift between the first 2 planes. A child from 0 to 6 is what she called an unconscious creator. They have an absorbent mind, learning mostly through their senses. Their motto is basically, help me do it myself. But then, from 6 to 12, they become an intellectual explorer with a reasoning mind, constantly asking why and how, and really starting to develop their own moral compass. It's a huge change. And that brings us to maybe the most critical concept for that first plane, the absorbent mind. Seriously, the child's mind is like a sponge. It just soaks up everything from the environment: language, culture, behaviors, attitudes, effortlessly, unconsciously, and without any filter. This is exactly why those first few years are so unbelievably foundational. So, with all this in mind, this incredible self-directed process of development, what does that make our role in all of this? Well, the best metaphor, the one that really clicks, is that of a gardener. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Our job isn't to force a plant to grow or to shape it into something it's not. Our job is to prepare the soil, to provide the right conditions, the sun, the water, and then to nurture that little growing person with immense trust and patience, knowing that their own internal blueprint is going to guide them. And this visual just captures the entire journey perfectly. We don't create the potential that's inside the seed. That's already there. Our great work, our most important job, is to prepare the environment, the home, our relationship, the opportunities we offer that will allow that seed to become the flourishing, amazing individual it is already destined to be. So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. What if we shifted our entire focus? What if we came to realize that our greatest, most important job is not to mold and shape the child, but simply to prepare the soil for their magnificent, inevitable growth?